Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the founder and lead investigator with Deep Woods Paranormal. My wife and I, along with others, investigate everything paranormal in nature. Every week, we will discuss everything from creepy haunted locations to ghosts to Bigfoot, UFOs, Dogman, and other cryptid creatures, and explore all things paranormal in nature. Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the host of the Deep Woods Paranormal podcast. So today we're going to kind of talk about what's going on. I had some major issues with my computer. I don't know if anybody else experienced this. I know at my work they experienced it and stuff like that with the new Microsoft updates. My computer actually uploaded the week before those updates came out. And so I didn't have a whole lot of issues. And then all of a sudden my computer just started glitching like crazy. My USB ports wouldn't work. I'd have my camera working and then not working. And then my mic would not work. And so I wasn't able to get a podcast out. I got the audio podcast out about 2 weeks ago. And then after that, I kind of mentioned the words, let's see, what were they? UFO, alien abductee, aliens, and stuff like that. And then everything went to, you know what? So, just don't want to make sure I don't use those words on here this time. We are going to have some new guests come on here. I'm trying to get a gentleman on. We'll only have the audio podcast with him. But he basically is into studying poltergeist activity, which is very fascinating. If you're into the paranormal and researching ghosts and hauntings and stuff like that, let me try that again. That kind of activity is super duper interesting and really could be scientifically a breakthrough. Basically teaches you how the human body can project out with poltergeist activity and create things, can create things and make things happen that it's just unworldly, unbelievable. We've also been working a lot of private investigations recently. Been using the spirit box for a lot of stuff. I know, or not the spirit box, the ghost box. This guy. So this is the ghost box, and essentially I have it so it's blurring out pretty much anything that's not in facial view. So I'll put this back in front of here. This is the FCD ghost box. I got this from a guy in England. I paid a couple $100 for it. And so I wasn't real sure when I got it if it would work. But I was tired of the junky spirit box, even with a new external speaker attached to it and stuff like that. The headache of all the white noise and then trying to figure out what it was saying was just a pain. So I bought this thing, and that's something we're going to basically talk about today, because the paranormal activity, at least the ghost hunting side of things, is off the charts right now. It's just absolutely off the charts. We're getting calls constantly from people. I'm experiencing this. I saw that. I saw an apparition. Something happened. This happened. That happened. I'm not going to get into all that because it's basically private. We helped a family communicate with this and talk to their brother who passed away. And so that was awesome. We spent about an hour and a half out with them. And we're going to keep that private. I was going to show that on the YouTube. I might show maybe a 5 or 10 minute segment of that because it's an hour and a half long, and make that a short for you guys. I've been putting out quite a few shorts lately. Let me share my screen with you guys real quick. We'll go on to here, if I can get this to open. So this is our backup YouTube channel. As you can see, I basically put this out. Oops. Helps if you click on the right thing. Anyways, come on now. So I put this video out the other day. If you have not seen it, it says Ghost Box comes alive with ghostly names. And I'll show that. I'm not going to show you this video, but this is insane. I have left this out in the living room. I was actually just priming it, trying to get it to go. And I know a lot of people say the ghost box is just, it's they don't like it. Let's put it that way. So here's the actual video that I shot without the YouTube part of it in there. And to my surprise, when I turn this little switch on over here, that turns this on. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. So when you turn this little switch on the side, so this comes on, you can hear it. You can hear it starts. There's probably a lot of spirits in this room because of all the attachments to everything and stuff. But anyways, it's scanning radio frequencies. This is the little knob. You turn it up, and then you can set the reverb here, down here, and then basically the button up here. You hold that, and you scan. And stop saying. So we start with the names again. So anyways, you can hear it down, you put it down, that resets it, and then you basically flip the switch turn it back on, and it starts scanning through new frequencies. So as you can hear, they're talking through it. A lot of the times when I use this box, I actually get just basically just this quiet, all this stuff coming through. This room is paranormally charged. This room has spirits. The dolls and everything behind me have entities attached to them. There's items on the bookshelf over there that also have entities attached to them. There's an Indian woman that lives here. And I'm going to turn this back off so they don't keep talking through the whole thing. So there is an Indian woman that does reside here. She was here before we built the house, I'm sure. And there's also a German guy that also resides here. There's a little girl that's very prominent. I do believe she's attached to one of the dolls behind me. And she makes her presence known from time to time. She talks as clear as I'm talking to you now. We've heard her multiple times. She kind of roams through the house. She likes to mess with the TV and stuff like that. We have the TV turn on, and we only have like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. So we don't have cable. So we have to turn the TV on. Then we have to go through into an app like Discovery or whatever, click on the app, and then pick a show, and then it starts playing. Well, our TV will turn on to a show already on with the volume all the way up. And it's always fun when you've just turned your back and you're about to turn around and walk away, and all of a sudden radio or the TV comes blasting on behind you. So I think that's just their way of telling us they're not happy about the TV being turned off. Maybe they're interested in what something we're watching or whatever. Anyways, getting back to this box. So when I first got this box, I didn't know if it was going to be good. It had a lot of good reviews. A lot of people on different types of shows have used it. So I thought, okay, it's got a 30-day money back guarantee. I'll try it out. It was custom built by a gentleman in England who's very into the paranormal. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get in trouble with copyrights or anything like that. But anyways, so we tried it out. And when we first turned on, absolutely nothing came through it. And it's like, okay, there's nothing going on with this thing. Is it going to work? And so, of course, the German guy comes through and speaking with a very thick German accent. He's been caught on the audio podcast or on the video podcast too. When I go back and listen sometimes, I'm the only one here most of the time when I do these podcasts, the only physical person here. And he'll come through every once in a while and you'll get this voice, this German voice, responding to whatever I'm talking about. And it's pretty funny when it comes through. He seems like a cool guy. So, but anyways, we've got a lot of cases around here that are just interesting. We've got a client that lives on an old area where her family owned property. Out here, a lot of the area around Bryan and even into College Station is still farmland, actually. And not in the city, but outside the city. And of course, if you're in the city, you also have driven by those properties that you look over and there's a cow standing right next to the fence. So it's a very farm rich area out here. I work out in the middle of a farmer's fields and stuff like that, and they have corn and all kinds of stuff growing right now. But yeah, so I mean, these areas all used to be plantations. The history of this area was plantations, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I think there was 32 plantations out here, and this area was also settled by German immigrants, and there was Native Americans out here, and then the trains came through, and downtown Bryan became a city, and also then College Station kind of popped up, and I know like Austin and all that stuff was already here, but just I'm talking about our general area, the Bryan College Station area here in Texas. And so, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of paranormal activity here. Boonville, especially, seems to be a highlighted area for ghosts and stuff like that. Downtown Bryan seems to have a lot of paranormal activity. If you've ever been to the La Salle Hotel and you stayed the night there, you might have had an experience, or you've been down in the Speakeasy. And but as things go on and things have gotten crazier in the world, I've noticed just this massive uptick of paranormal activity. We're getting calls left and right, and we're still helping people. And so you'll start to see, I think, I'm not sure how many of these private cases we're going to actually show to people. When we went and sat with the clients that the brother died, we basically turned the ghost box on and let them talk and to basically ask questions to the box. And I think they were actually very pleasantly surprised at how many times their loved ones came through and actually communicated with them. Now, like I said before, I know a lot of people look at these ghost box and the spirit box and go, that's just junk. There's nothing to them. They're a joke, whatever. And I understand that. I thought the same thing when I first got them. I was very weary when I first got this box that, okay, this is going to be another spirit box and I'm not going to be happy with it. And it's just going to be a whole bunch of baloney coming through. For the first, let's way back in the California Ghost Hunters days, someone brought one on an investigation and they're like, well, we should try this. And we had that little golf ball like speaker on there, and you couldn't understand anything coming through it. I mean, I think we heard one or two things that we thought might be something. And then, I don't know. It was just not the greatest. It wasn't the greatest experience. Let's put it that way. So I just thought it was junk, to be honest with you. Wasn't until we moved to Texas and somebody, when we moved over here with the Deep Woods Paranormal and started to investigate buildings out here and businesses and whatever else and homes, that somebody in our group said, hey, you should get another spirit box. And I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, no, it's junk. And so somebody told me no, but if you put an actual external speaker onto it that actually is good quality, you can actually understand it. So that's what we did. We actually ended up getting this little Anchor speaker. This little speaker is pretty dang good, to be honest with you. It's rechargeable, and essentially it's very clear and it's really good quality. And so I got this for Amanda because she wanted an external speaker, and of course I stole it back. And what I do is I put a little external plug in here for a mic, and then I plugged it into the spirit box like a headphone jack, and it has dual headphone jacks. So one goes into this side, and then one goes into the spirit box. And I guess I was sitting in here or whatever. Actually, I could start to understand what was coming through. And I'm like, okay, then this isn't so bad. And we actually started getting good quality stuff. It wasn't until we went to different places that were really haunted that we actually started getting like voices coming through where we could understand the names and we could actually clearly hear what was being said. And I think that's because of the better quality speaker, to be honest with you. This speaker in here is pretty good quality. Now, I mean, if if there's probably people out there that study these things and take them apart and go, okay, and they analyze them to death and whatever else, and they're probably going, well, that's not the best speaker out there. And I understand that. This is just a tool to hopefully open up some kind of communication, to hopefully get names or some kind of information we can use, that we can look back into the history, or we can talk to the owner of the property, or we can talk to maybe a loved one and say, okay, does this make sense to you? Does what this voice coming out here, does this sound familiar? Does this sound like somebody you know? Is this your loved one? Or does what it's saying match with the history? And if you can start to match it to the history, you can go, okay, well, maybe it wasn't just a radio frequency or a voice from the radio coming through. And you can basically, just basically start to answer some of the questions you might have. And then you can use other gear doing EVP sessions, and don't discount doing EVP sessions. EVP sessions is probably the best proof of possible spirits there is. Now, again, everybody goes, oh, well, it's just the radio frequency scanning through. I think that my theory about ghosts is that they're just some kind of energy. They can manifest and they can manipulate different devices in multiple ways. If you think of them as some kind of energy, okay, we're just energy essentially. And basically our brain's like a computer. Our stomachs basically consume food to be able to allow us to create energy for our bodies. And that sends electrical currents through from our brains, through our whole body, and allows us to move and talk and do other things that we do. So essentially, I think that the same thing is possible for the spirits. They pull energy or EMF or whatever you want to call it out of the air, creating cold spots, by the way. If you ever get a cold spot and you're like, okay, the air conditioning's not on, you can go through and eliminate everything else, and you're still left with that cold spot. And it's much cooler than even the air around you. If you have one of the thermometer guns or even a thermal, and you can see a cold spot, and you can see that there's energy being pulled out of that spot. Yeah, you might have a spirit trying to manifest in some way. And let's say you're recording audio and you're doing an EVP session. Well, essentially what that does is that allows them to manipulate the device, create whatever, take that noise from inside that device and create some kind of a voice. And I think the same is true with this. I think that essentially they're able to use this noise that comes through the radio. And this is supposed to be scanning at such a high frequency that essentially they're not able to, it's not just able to spit out words from the radio. You don't hear like K-Rock or like a DJ sitting there talking the whole time. It's supposed to basically go through so quickly like an old radio. If you've ever had an old radio where you can turn the knob and you're trying to tune in a station and you're going back and forth and trying to fine tune that station to get that to come in, and you're like, okay, it's almost there, but you can kind of hear words coming through and you hear, same thing. So essentially they take that noise and use that noise to create a voice so that we can talk to them. And it's basically almost like a telephone. It's basically like having a conversation on a telephone. And it allows them to opportunity to communicate with us in real time. And that's what I love that. The problem with one of these is once you pull this out, you'll never get an EVP session. You'll never be able to get any EVPs again. Because if you're in a location and they know that spirit box is coming out or that ghost box is coming out, and they can hear their own voice, they get excited when they hear their own voice. Like I said, you're just never going to get an EVP again because they're more excited about this thing than they are about waiting for you to listen through it and maybe skipping over it because they weren't able to get such a proper voice in it, or it doesn't make sense, or it's gibberish, which happens a lot. I mean, 99% of EVPs that you get, you listen back a couple of days later, or at least I do. I listen back a couple of days later and I go, that's not so great. That's a class B or C because we're looking for the Class A. We're all looking for the Class A EVPs. And if you don't know what EVP is, it's electronic voice phenomenon, again, where you record audio and then you listen back to hear basically if there's anything else that isn't your voice or whoever's with your voice. And you're looking for some kind of response. Whether I say, what's your favorite color? And you get blue, or what's your name, John, or how long have you been here? Forever. I've heard that answer before. But essentially, that's what we're looking for when we do EVP sessions. Now, let me show you a little preview. Let me go back and share my screen again. So this is the spirit box, and this is a little bit alarming. I don't want to get religious or anything like that. But essentially, this is sitting in the living room, out in the living room, and somebody told me that I have multiple portals in my living room. So it's like on one side of the room, and then the other side of the room, there's a portal where spirits are coming in, and they're basically coming through the living room and then going out the other side into the other portal. And so it's almost like there was a conveyor belt of spirits just coming through. And as they're coming through, they just nonstop name after name after name after name. This went on for 2.5 hours. I finally had to leave. I had to turn this off because they wouldn't stop talking. They just wouldn't be quiet. And at one point, I don't know if this is, you guys can go back and watch this on the YouTube channel. If you're watching our video podcast, you can go back and watch this. But there's literally just, it sounds, I heard the word, I don't know if this is part of this recording. I only recorded for about 12 minutes out of the over 2 hours that this went on. I heard the word Ukraine, then I heard Poland, and then I heard nuked, the word nuked, and then I heard apocalypse. And I was like, what? And then the names started coming through, like one after another, after another, after another. So if I had to guess, and again, this is not me saying this is for sure this way. I know we have a lot of skeptics and a lot of people on the fence in here, and you're rolling your eyes going, okay, whatever, man, you're crazy, which is normal for me. I hear that all the time from my wife anyways. But my theory, and this is just a theory, is that for some reason, all these spirits wanted to make themselves known. I was watching something on YouTube regarding what was going on in the world. And so maybe that's why they started coming through. I don't know. Something drew them to the box, and I don't know why. But I'll let you listen to like 20, 30 seconds of this, and you can just hear the names come through. Let me see. Hopefully this will play on my microphone. Excuse me.
Well, 10. If you would hard. Together. Sit by. Harder. It means. Yeah. Something. Whoops. Rella. Bruno. It really.
All right, so let me stop sharing my screen again. Hopefully you guys can clearly hear that. Like I said, if you really want to analyze that and whatever else, feel free to go over to our YouTube channel, take a listen, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Please be nice in the comments, guys. I know this isn't scientific, but it's interesting. And again, it's just possibly a way to communicate with the dead. And so, it's a learning process. Been doing this for over 30 years. I'm still learning different processes and stuff like that. So, um, whatever. I mean, it's just a tool to possibly communicate with spirits. Again, you got to take all this with a grain of salt. And like I said, I don't expect anyone to believe until they've had an encounter of their own where they can say it couldn't be anything else. And you can put ghost in this situation, but you can also put UFO, alien, Bigfoot, whatever. Like I said, I like the both sides. I like to kind of be in the middle of this conversation. I like having paranormal people on one side. I like having skeptics on the other, and I like to kind of be in the middle. We were brought up as a TAPS family member team, so we debunk almost everything. It sucks to go into a location and go through and say, nope, this is this, this is that, this is this, this is that, and you leave and you're like, okay, well, we didn't really get any evidence. But that happens about, I don't know, 70-80% of the time. Not every location we go into is paranormally active. And sometimes you can go through and explain everything away. It sucks, or you can explain a lot away. But the ghost box is, again, it's just another tool to allow us to possibly get more information. I'm not going to say get evidence, but get more information, and to possibly connect with, and again, possibly connect with a spirit or a ghost or multiple ghosts, and to allow them to possibly have a voice where they can say, they can come through and tell us what's going on. And maybe they can give us some vital information. And maybe they can basically point us in a direction where we can kind of start to get answers to what's going on. And maybe they need closure. Maybe they need something. Maybe they have a message for somebody. Maybe they just wanted to say goodbye. Maybe they wanted maybe they're waiting for their loved ones. Um, there's lots of reasons spirits or ghosts or whatever you want to call them stay in a location, or they attach themselves to things. Maybe they just really like that item. Who knows? But anyways, all right, guys. Just please be careful while you're out there, especially the people doing the paranormal research. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. I've been doing this a long time, and I've watched paranormal cycles. I noticed that, at least for me, I noticed that there's an uptick, and then it kind of calms back down. And there's an uptick, and then it calms back down. Well, right now, there's just been an uptick, and an uptick, and an uptick, and an uptick. Spirits are getting stronger. They're getting more active. They're communicating more. They're really being more bold. Human spirits seem to be stronger than they were, and a lot of stuff is just, I've just noticed a lot of stuff, and some of it's kind of dangerous. So, like I said, just be very careful if you're out there exploring the paranormal, and don't forget to clear yourself at the end of your investigations. I know a lot of people don't know this. I'll just say this out here. When you're done with wherever you're at, let's say you're just an enthusiast. You stayed at a haunted hotel for the night, and maybe you had activity, maybe you didn't. And you're like, okay, that's fun. Let's go home. We had a great time. You get in the car, get to the first stoplight, stop sign, whatever. Maybe you're going 100 miles, maybe you're going 1,000 miles, maybe you're going, 20 feet to get home. Who knows? Get to a stopping point. If there's anything with me, you can't go home with me. Halfway home, same thing. If there's anything with me, you can't go home with me. If you're flying or something like that, of course, you're not going to want to do that. But when you get into your regular car or whatever, you just want to say, listen, we had a great time with you. If you experienced anything, maybe you didn't. But if there's anything with us, you can't go home with us. I've had more people have things go home with them and then have another investigation open up where we have to go figure out what went home with them, why they're there, and all that stuff. And then that just opens up a whole nother can of worms. But anyways, guys, you guys stay safe out there. Please be careful when you're researching the paranormal. And like I said, leave us a comment down below. Have you used a spirit box or a ghost box? And they are different. A spirit box is different than the ghost box. They are similar, but they are different. I found that I have better results with the ghost box. Are you using the ghost box or are you using the spirit box? Let us know down below. What results have you had? Are you out actively investigating ghosts and ghost hunting? Let us know what you're experiencing. Have you noticed an uptick in the paranormal activity? Are you just noticing nothing's going on? Um, I don't know if you're spiritual or religious or you're non-religious. What are you guys experiencing out in the field? I'd be very interested to know. So please leave a comment below. If you guys will do me a favor, if you like this content, please subscribe, hit that like button, and again, leave us a comment. We appreciate it. Again, please be polite in the comments, whether you're a believer, or skeptic, or you think I'm absolutely nuts. That's fine, but please keep it PG rated. Any negative comments, I will address, but I will probably won't address publicly. All right, guys, you guys have a good one. You stay safe, and we will catch you on the next one.